Hi everyone, I have got a very special interview for you today. This is my lovely friend Seçil. She's from Istanbul, Turkey. Now, the reason I've asked her to come and do this interview with me today, she is one of the people that I know that is earning and doing her creativity full time. And we are going to talk about meaningful work. And for those of you that would like to be free and would like to be doing what you really want to do, I'm going to ask her lots of questions about what she does, how she does it, and how she's done this for 20 years. There's also lots of meditation, tapping, and different things that you are very used to on this channel. So I'm going to hand it over to Seçil and say hello and welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for the introduction. So inspirational to see someone who is focusing on to her own things by herself. We are all need our vibrations and kind of mirror effect she is doing for me. Thank you. It's very lovely to being here. As she said, I'm a creative person. I'm a contemporary artist. As a mother, solo mother, single mother, lives in UK, London, more than 6 years, about 7 years now, and I was born in Istanbul. Raised there, studied in Fine Arts Academy. I studied painting and I did my master degree as well. But I just want to go a little bit back because I discovered my creativity and my spirituality exactly the same time when I was 8 or 9 years old girl. We have had very long summer holidays that I was really get bored from doing same things, and I just started to focus on my own. And by the time I was growing up in a very modern conservative environment, inside of the family and also outside of the family, and I was always a good girl, but I always listened to my heart and intuition. That brought me to here where I am, that I'm really appreciated. But it's been a really, really tough journey in some points that I had to take risks to be a free woman, free soul. I just needed to activate my self to reach my actual potential.
So can I just say, you work full-time as an artist, and you do not have another job, and you've never had another job for 20 years, and you live in London, and we live in quite an expensive suburb. So the cost of accommodation and rents and mortgages and all that here is extremely expensive. So this is no small achievement. This is a big achievement.
Thank you.
And you are supporting a child as well who has to go to school and has needs and everything else. So I think there's so many people in the art world, whether it's music or dance, that have the starving artist beliefs, that they have a job and then they do the art on the side. How do you think you've managed to not do another job on the side? What thoughts and beliefs do you have about money, trusting God, and all of that makes this work?
It's a lot of answer around this question. It's a great question. First of all, I am 100% sure everything is about you. And you should be focus to yourself instead of focusing on if I can do or complaining things. And as I mentioned, I come from a very conservative modern society. That means a lot of confusions. But I was focus more than, I mean, I was focused on to myself more than to focus that what is wrong around my area. So yeah, I just listened to my heart and focus on to my intuitions, what I needed to do. And I was always open to the opportunities, work opportunities, and I never worked for a company, but I collaborated with various people and commercial places, corporate people and places. I don't know, I just created my community and my network around my energy and my, of course, with my work. And I can tell after more than 20 years, creating a works that I create, it's just you become one with what you do. And when you already also love what you do, it really makes the difference. And trusting yourself and focusing to your inner work more than, you know, your outside of work. It's just because also, you know, I've got panics all the time, a lot of time. I've got stress, of course.
Yeah.
You know, when you just kind of changing your situations. For example, I become a very well-known artist in Istanbul in my genre and in my age at that time, and I just gave up because I knew my potential wasn't that much. I could have go more than that, but I had to change something. I needed to leave from my comfort zone. And there's a saying, you know, freedom starts when you leave from your comfort zone. It's so true.
Yes. Yes.
And there's also a few, it's very difficult to say this word, epiphany.
Epiphany, yes.
I like this word, but I'm confused all the time. Epiphanies happened in my life that, you know, universe sending you the signals all the time if you are open to see it. And when I always ask the question, I receive the answers. And I know I'm protected, and I know I'm supported, and I believed in myself, and I believed in the endless possibilities. So one another thing, before I went to Art Academy, I was studying in a state school as a high school, and I was studying science and math, which I'm very interested about that as well. You know, I am very into that quantum physics ideas and mathematical things and sacred geometries that I even used into my works, and all of the concept that I'm using, little bit spiritual, but the background of that spirituality is just lean to that scientific perceptions as well. So I'm just taking what I'm doing is just so seriously, and this is not just okay, I create something, it's just so beautiful, let me just sell this. I have a dedicated life that what I do. And as I raise my child with the same attitude, unfortunately my marriage end up in some point that I find myself alone in the relationship, but I couldn't complain, and I didn't kind of allow myself to suffer, and the others as well. So every time I try to focus the solution, and I take the problems as a project to find the problems. And always there's when you just change your perception, there's the solution is over there somewhere. but you never know where is that. You can just find exactly next step of yours or last step of yours on the journey. And this is life, you know. This is a journey that we are all taking. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to speak like that. I'm a good example that I'm really aware about, that I cannot say, okay, you can do whatever. No, you can do whatever you like. But if you are an open person, if you are really ready to take the risks and create your own journey, it's just beautiful, but it's challenging, I've got to say.
Yeah.
And you have to always be conscious what you are doing, and the how is you are just experiencing on the way.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that true?
For sure. But I think you in particular, you've got a good level of trust in being supported. Otherwise, there's no way you would do this. So how do you trust month by month, year by year, what goes through your head with beliefs and thoughts about being able to support yourself and be okay? What happens in your head?
First of all, for example, as there are here some of my books, and I'm an established artist, but I don't mind to go to paint somebody's wall or go to work in a pub if I have to.
If you have to, yes.
So, for example, first of all, you know, this is life. Everybody can be in that situations. If the situations is about the money, that I can go and do that, I don't mind that. But I am I'm a visionary person. I always had my visions, and when I am taking steps, I was just aware what type of risk that I'm taking, and I have my monthly plans, 6 monthly plans, and yearly plans, and even that I have more long-term plans, that what I want, how I want, and what I want to feel, and how I want to live, and where I want to be, and what I want to focus, instead of I want this, I do and the things just aligning and folding up on the way.
Yeah. Can you tell that story? Because this is a good example. The story you told me, you know the one I'm talking about. Send me. Can you... This is,
okay.
For those of you that are listening...
Can I say the amount of the money as well?
Yes, yeah, you said. This is, I just have to say, I was blown away by this story, and I said to her, when we do an interview, can you please share this story, because it was amazing.
Okay.
So it was Friday. It was a Friday.
Okay. And it was a Friday, and my daughter and her dad, he kind of didn't agree a few things at that period, and I just, you know, I really didn't want anything from him. I just had enough to ask or try to find a way to communicate. And I was just kind of, you know, I received that last stroke bit. It just,
Right up to here.
Enough. And that was a Friday, and I was sitting next to my daughter, and on my mind, I said to universe, look, universe, I had enough of this. If you send me minimum £10,000 until Monday. Until Monday, I will stop asking anything from him.
Yeah.
In money wise.
So just to be clear, this is Friday that you said this, and Monday is only 3 days later.
But I have a life and a workflow like this. my customers suddenly could appear in the middle of the night, and they could buy something really big, and
Yeah.
then I can recover my, couple of months.
Yes.
It's just this is how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I couldn't make any sales for a long time. Then a few sales is just coming up like this.
Yeah.
So that was on Friday evening. On Saturday morning, I received a message from a kind of an art dealer from Istanbul. He said to me, someone wants to buy 2 small piece of works that, and I said, okay, thank you. And then I just turned back to universe, said to universe, okay, thank you for that, but this is not what I'm asking to you. I ask you minimum 10,000. And Saturday just passed, and Sunday evening I was just kind of thinking how I'm gonna manage that things, and while I was waiting my friends over for afternoon late lunch, let's say, and I was just making foods, and I was just frying some peppers, and I was just enjoying. Even I just completely forgot my phone, where is that, and then I got my phone some time later, and I just saw, oh okay, oh my god, it just there was a message from my customer, and she mentioned my works to somebody, and he wants to buy a few paintings, and I just kind of made a sell more than 10,000, and I just whew,
And this was Sunday night?
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
And they confirmed Sunday evening,
yeah.
and I sent the invoice on Monday morning,
Yeah.
and I received the money on Tuesday. So
And it was more than what you asked the universe for.
yes,
And it was on.
yes,
And I remember saying to you, why did you say I need the money? I want the money by Monday. And you said to me, I had a few things I needed to pay, so I needed it by Monday.
exactly, exactly. I mean, so for me, is the problem was, I had to kind of really, we wouldn't able to speak and make an agreement between us.
Yeah.
And I really, really find that situation is really nonsense, and not paying very small of money for the daughter of ourselves. And so it was so difficult, and I just kind of, I'm not an educator to kind of, I'm not a person that, but I just didn't want to kind of do that as well.
Yeah.
And I asked support.
Yeah.
Actually, I asked money as
Yeah.
a support from the universe,
Yeah.
and the universe support me
Yeah.
again.
Again. Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
when I was moving to London,
Can I ask you
Yeah.
before you go on to the next thing? How did that person that bought that whatever they bought on the Monday, how did they see your paintings? Was it virtual, or they saw them at your house? How did they see the work to decide to buy it?
so I have available list catalogs.
Yeah.
And I am just releasing the available list catalogs to my customers,
Okay.
directly or via dealers or galleries or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I always have available list catalogs
Okay.
as a PDF.
So that shows the actual paintings, not just a list of the names. It shows the actual physical picture.
Imagine
Yeah.
a page, E4 size of page.
Yeah.
Each painting is just on the
Yeah.
page, and with all the details, size, and
Yeah.
titles
Yeah.
and details,
Nice.
with the pricing.
Yeah. So that
as well.
that sale, you were in London
Yes.
and they were in Istanbul?
The customer who is between us
Yes.
is in London, but the buyer at that time,
was in
Istanbul.
Wow. So then you packed, because I said to you, and we're going to show people we're going to move around to your studio after we've talked for a bit, but your paintings are huge. They're not something you can put in a little post pack and take to the post office. This requires shipping, and you ship all over the world, and it doesn't matter where. You've worked all that out. It's easy. That's wonderful.
It's easy from London, really.
Yes.
It's been a little bit difficult while I was living in Istanbul, but from London, everything is easy.
Yeah.
Easy, and
So just so people know, you paint on canvas with oils.
Yes.
Okay. And I didn't know this, but you do your own stretching, you do all the preparation yourself, which takes quite a lot of time. And it's just, I mean, I'm going to take you on a tour, everybody that's watching, in a minute. And this whole place is just wall-to-wall paintings. It's so colorful. It's so amazing. We do a lot of the same things, meditation and yoga and personal development and all those things that you and I have talked about over the last few months. And
I think that doesn't matter what you do, but the matter if you are in the process of your growth.
Yes.
Personally, spiritually, it just is so important. And the other things is just come and goes. Even the people that you really love come and goes, and sometimes those people that you love and spend very intense times that become somebody else, just no one in your life at some point. Because this is how it is, and I think the beauty of the life is learning of all of those things, just enjoying the moment. So for you, being present is the most wonderful thing. And with my paintings, I kind of represent and try to mention this, because all of those layers, all of those colors gives that power to be more to be contact with your self innerly and also subconsciously. It's just very important. Also on social media, I'm just posting how I'm working. Is kind of encouraging people, I think. And also I studied classic European painting. I have a big knowledge technically and also historically. I'm teaching this as well. I set up an art club in here after the COVID, because during the COVID I was very happy by myself to stay in. I realized I was already isolated all my life.
Well,
nothing changed.
When you do something artistic, you are working alone a lot
for
of
the
the
first time life. And the people and me, we are kind of in the same pace. But I realized people need help and support, and I set up workshops and I gave them freely. After the COVID lockdowns finish, that become my proper job, and every week I go to my other studio to teach, to help people to find their inner creativity. That is the most wonderful thing for me, because supporting each other is the most important thing in life, probably. Because when you have something, you should give. For you to help as well.
That's true.
holding what you have is just, you know, being generous is the most
Yes.
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And then you are helping for your circulation as
That's
well.
it.
When you give, you receive. When you give, you receive. When you smile, you receive a smile. It just doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
But it's just beautiful.
It is.
It's just beautiful.
And you still love what you do after all these years, don't you? Like, you love it. You get up and you paint, and you then go off and do your exercise class, and then you come back, and then you do a bit of Instagram, or, you know, you make the day rotate. But
Yeah.
you do a lot of painting, which is, you know.
I am preparing a solo show.
Yes.
And duo show, and little bit a few group shows are coming up.
Yes.
So slightly busy times.
Yeah.
And that solo show, I mean, every time when I make a solo show, that means I need to push my limits than how I did in the past. Now I feel like I'm also, you know, as a age and also physical condition wise, I'm capable to do really big works at the moment.
Yeah.
And even the space little bit small for that works, but I am really enjoying that making, you know, getting up, doing your regular things.
Yeah.
And also this summer I add ice bathing.
Yes,
in
ice bath.
in my just morning ritual. It's just crazy thing, but it's just really great to start the day as fresh as.
Yeah.
But you should know about your physical condition as well. If you guys are going to try that, you should really know your boundaries and limits. And also, you know, heart pace. It's everything so important.
Can you talk about, because you told me when I met you, and we talked about it the other day, but I can't remember the name of it. There was that place in London that asked you to come and do an exhibition, and you never thought that you would be asked to that sort of thing. It was some English, what was it called? It was some place, and they asked you to come, and somewhere in London, some London society, whatever it's called. I can't remember what.
Do you mean Arab British of Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, that. I couldn't remember the name of it. So what did they ask you to do?
They gave me a reception.
Yeah, so that means, for people that don't understand, they invited you to exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. In central London?
Yeah, in central London.
Yeah.
So I'm a person, I really have wide range of people in my life.
Yeah.
And I never take anyone as a, you know, big, small, poor, wealthy, this, that, you know, I never gave any title to anyone, and I never make friendships with anyone with an expectation.
Yeah.
I think this is also one of the key of my success, if I'm successful. So long time ago, I met with a very elegant lady in Turkey, in Bodrum, in a retreat about business woman. I was there to kind of give support, to look the business people in a creative perspective. It's just interesting. Another story. So we met a lady who is coming from Egypt in that retreat. But interestingly, she had a Turkish blood and she was speaking Turkish as well. So we had a very nice conversation because that lady asked to one of my collector that she's been also in the meeting, a painter to buy painting to add her collection. And I was around, and the other lady introduced me with her, and she said, I want to buy paintings, and we had a coffee the other day, and we just kind of, I made a sale to her. This happened in Turkey long time ago, and at that time she also mentioned to me, you know what, I also live in London time to time, please come and visit me in London. By the time, I didn't have any idea that I'm going to move to London. And I came here, and I just mentioned her that I'm here, and she took me to dinners, and at that day we had a lunch with her, and there was somebody else also invited to that lunch. It was actually casual lunch in somewhere in Mayfair. We were just kind of eating quick lunch, having quick lunch, and I told my story. You know what? I came to London. I'm a single mom. I'm doing this. I'm taking a business visa type. That is a challenge to be a Turkish in London. Blah 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 blah. And she said, you know what, I'm the CEO of Chamber of Commerce. Why don't you come and exhibit in our place? And I just want to give a reception for you. I was just, okay, I just arrived to London a few months ago, and I got that amazing offer. That was just an honor and beautiful experience, and also I felt I'm privileged and supported. Again, I didn't have any expectation. And for me it was also another interesting thing, because the place called Arab British Chamber of Commerce. I'm not Arab, I'm not British, I'm just in between. When people ask why you are here, to, you know, because people just enjoy to coming to events and meeting with me, and a few people want to buy, they did some purchase, and I said, you know, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I'm in between. I can just become a bridge, this two.
Yes.
So that's why here I am.
Yeah, wow.
And that's that type of thing happened to me. I can just I have a lot of stories like that. So those things always help me, and also I never stop doing my practice every day in a regular basis. Even I'm just sick, I draw something, I think, I just observe, because I'm actually just a observer and transformer, helping just, you know, the materials, the ideas, situations, and I'm just here and now. I'm just bringing the things to life to create space for all of us, for me, for you, and for them. I think every art form and creative form open a space for the societies. Just depends how you want to be in and how you are opening that spaces.
Nice. Now, I'm really excited to see your studio again, because
shall we?
I love it. So can we follow you in?
Yeah, of course.
And then I'm going to just take a little look around here, because this is amazing. We're in the living room. We're in the kitchen dining, and there's paintings.
Here is a showroom, studio, and home.
Yeah.
That I live here with my daughter and with my cat.
Yeah.
And all of those paintings up here is finished, but now is starting. You are just seeing the paintings on progress.
I'm just going to show you as we go through here.
Yes.
Just all the amazing colours. And now
It's a little bit, yeah, it's just...
I'll sneak through. Look, there's even a little one on the door. How
This
cute.
is my kind of
That's so cute.
vision painting.
Okay.
Because I'm right in the middle. This is me.
Yeah.
Can you see? No.
No?
And things are just coming here to me.
Yeah.
My inspirations and thoughts and stuff. All the energies, money energy and love energy, every positive energy just here. And I'm just giving from here to transforming the energy.
That's so cute. That's a little baby one
Yeah.
compared to all your other ones. Okay.
Yes.
So here
Here is
is
the room.
the amazing room where all the creativity happens.
Yeah, now I'm just working on a with 12 large scale of this size of paintings.
Yeah.
I'll show you the sketchbook. Here is the sketch of this large painting. And yeah, I mix the colors here on this palette. And this is all oil paintings, all of those supplies, yeah, here. And I'm just kind of mixing colors here, spending really long time before I start to have a conversation with the canvases, because obviously the thing is I'm having a proper conversation with the paintings, but before I start I'm kind of preparing myself and also the colors on the palette. And sometimes I set up camera here, record myself to give some inspiration to you. At the moment I'm doing 21-day grace meditation every day. That gives me a sentences that, you know, centering thoughts.
Yeah.
Today one was every day my being seeks I'm just reading from the opposite, new ways to expand.
Is that the Deepak Chopra one?
Yes.
Ah,
The
nice.
16th
Yeah.
was the 16th day.
Beautiful.
This is who I am, this is what I do. I only can, if we wrap up this video, I can only say just believe in yourself, focus on yourself is the key to it. Doesn't matter whatever you do. And also, you know, the knowledge is also so important. Knowledge needs to grow, but you know, what you are putting in the center, what's you know, constantly researching, constantly learning more is so important. Even as a mother, I have to say I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot, especially from my child. Learning is one of the key to be successful or to move on. And thank you for watching.
Thank
And
you
I
for
hope-
coming.
Yeah, I hope I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Well, everybody, I'm just going to take you on one more lap while I tell you I am going to put all the links down below for you to be able to get a hold of Seychil if you want to email her or talk to her. I'm just leaving you with this amazing last little look at all the paintings. Thanks for joining us. And as always, I'll see you in the next YouTube. Ciao!